watching the Auto One V8 Utes, protected by Armour All. V8 Ute drivers have conquered all sorts of challenges early in the season, from racing on a rain-soaked track at Adelaide to bumping panels in reverse grid races. But their latest learning curve is more high-tech behind the scenes. V8 Ute engines are now controlled by a sophisticated Motec engine management system. One of the benefits for the drivers is their ability to access complex data for the first time.
The ECU not only controls the engine, but it's got an onboard data logging system. At the end of a session or a race, the teams can download that and look at it. The officials can also download it and analyse, make sure that they're playing on an even playing field.
Motec has more than 20 years' experience in developing high-performance products for a host of racing series in Australia and overseas. The Motec engine control unit, now used by V8 Utes, is the same engine management system found in V8 supercars.
We've got to go through a learning curve now, because now they have a data available which they didn't have before. They've now got to interpret that data. So there's lots of late nights from drivers trying to interpret squiggly lines to improve their driving style.
So it's a whole new brave world of professionalism.
It's a whole new brave world, and these guys have just opened the door to it. It's like Pandora's box. So they're going to learn a lot and they're going to go fast from it.
If you'd like more info about Motec, check out the V8 Utes website.
Ready to rumble? It's race 3, the final one of the weekend, and we've added together all the points and come up with the grid. Grant Johnson to start on the front row alongside Chris Pither. Nathan Pretty has been very consistent, Barks. The Monster Commodore is on row 2 with Jack Elsgood. Gary Baxter's been quiet. Let's just watch for Ryle Harris. He starts 7th alongside David Cedars. And Marcus Marshall, the Auto One wildcard, he seems to have really adapted to Ute racing.
He's done very well this weekend. He managed to have that little off in race 1, but he's recovered to still be starting in 10th position. But it's going to be about tyre management this race. Who's used what tyres in what race to see where they're going to end up at the end of this one, because it's such an important track on tyres.
Ben Dunn starting 26th. He had a brake drama in race 2. That's why he fired off the road. 14 laps ahead. Final race of the weekend. Round win on the line. Chris Pither on the right of screen. Grant Johnson on the left. Very even start between the two Commodores. Look at Cameron McConnell in the background.
He's using everything available, down the dirt, down everywhere. And we've managed to get there. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Elsgood got a whack there too. It was Gary Baxter.
Kim J.
He in turn got one from Kim J.
There's a bit of rubbing and pushing. Race 3, it always brings out the best in these guys. They're trying to square up the weekend and get the results.
The best? Don't you mean the worst?
Oh, absolutely the best. This is what people love about Ute racing. Look at this action. It's fantastic to see, and it's Grant Johnson over the top of the hill leading. So it's obviously good to see for him. He's done all that work in that previous race, passed all those cars. Here he is out front.
Nathan Pretty second, but for how much longer? Pither's back in the gap, and the Icebreak Coffee team, the team boss Darren Park, took the whole team to Thailand for a holiday and some team bonding. It seems to have worked.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind joining that team. Here we go, Jack Elsgood. He's got 3 Commodores in front of him. He's the leading Falcon. He's out there by himself, in fact, in that top 5 as a Falcon. So he's got a bit of work to do. Nathan Pretty covers the line. Jack's got nowhere to go. But these battles are going to continue all the way through the field. 2 wide into turn 7.
And the big issue here, you'll see, Chris Pither, he's running an extra blue strip on the windscreen because at this late part of the day, that dropping sun can be an issue for the vision.
It's not too bad when you're heading, obviously. Oh, here we go.
That was tight.
Chris Pither's managed to find a little gap and turn it into a half a big one. And here we are side by side through the S's over the top of the hill. And Grant Johnson's going to be on the dirt, the grass. Now, if they can stay here side by side, Chris Pither might find himself in a good spot here because Grant Johnson's going to be on the outside, which is where you don't want to be.
Great racing from these two. They're giving one another enough room. And they went side by side for 2 corners. And actually, make it 3.
And now Nathan Pretty's going to buy into the argument as well. So Grant Johnson's going to find himself 1 out, 1 wide here as Nathan Pretty's going to get the run up the inside. So we might find Grant Johnson dropping back into the hands of Jack Elsgood.
Nathan Pretty's been piecing together a very consistent weekend. He's had a 6th in the 2 races so far. He's going for position 2, and he's going to get there, but Johnson, he needs to get back across and cover off Elsgood.
Oh, there we go. He's managed to just hold off Elsgood. Elsgood couldn't get the run. But now who's going to be on the inside? Jack Elsgood's under pressure, and they're rubbing and pushing in the background as well.
That was Baxter and Ryle Harris. It is on in this final race. David Cedars, championship leader coming into this weekend. There he is with that multicoloured AIS Ford.
Side by side again, through over the top of the S's, over the top of the hill. All that rubber on the right-hand side of the circuit makes it very difficult to generate grip with all those marbles. You can see Jack Elsgood now. Now, this is what we talked about with tyres. 14 laps in this race, and it's going to be about managing those rears because they just go off so quickly here in Perth.
Chris Pither has been able to jump away. Oh, look at this for a move. Johnson with the big run, and Harris does the same to Jack Elsgood. So really it looks like Johnson and Harris have got the pace, but Harris was too wide, and Elsgood muscles back.
The over-under classic trick there. He's gone down the inside, too hot, left a gap. Now Jack's managed to come back. And now Nathan Pretty's going to try and find another way around Grant Johnson as well. Now
Ryle Harris just having a little bit of a lunge at turn 7. That's a nice move. He's got himself enough into the gap, and what it does, it pushes Jack wide, and you've got to go around that exit curve. You're effectively out of bounds, but you can actually power straight back onto the road and hang on.
I wonder what the officials see of that one. Stay tuned after the break. We'll be back with plenty more Ute action. Lots of Rubbins racing.
We're on board with the Auto 1 wildcard. Marcus Marshall here at Barbagallo. It's the final race of the weekend in the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series. He's running in 10th place, looking ahead at 9th place, David Cedars, who of course won the first round on the streets of Adelaide. And judging by the way that he's sliding this car, Marshall is really coming to grips with this. He's having a ball.
Oh, it looks like it too, but Cedars' car is a little bit nervous and sliding around a little bit as well. As Marshall's now going to have a look down the inside. Oh, a little touch. That's enough just to upset. Oh, and has Marshall been touched there too? Oh, yeah, look at that. We've got Charlie O'Brien up the inside as well. So 3 wide now as they go up over the top of the hill into the final corner.
I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. It's got drama written all over it. 3 wide into turn 7, and Marshall wisely backs out of it. Remember, he's a guest this weekend. It's not his car. It's Jason Gomersall's, in fact. He wants to hand it back in pretty good condition.
Kim Jane rejoins the track again. He's found a better line on the outside of the curb, which I don't think is quite what you should be doing. But anyway, he's found a way of doing it. So now Charlie O'Brien's made his way past Cedars, so he's picked up 2 in the last few corners.
Charlie had hub failure on Friday, 11th and 13th in the 2 races so far. Great sound that the Utes make, full field. And that's the great thing too, Bargs. Really, there's no white cars. There are sponsors everywhere in the Ute category. It's really going from strength to strength.
Well, it's so popular, isn't it? The Ute Racing's fantastic. Great looking cars out there, great teams, very professional. As we've got Kim Jane down the inside of Jack Elsgood. So here we go, a bit more rubbing and racing. So they're pushing quite hard. Toward the end of the day, Jack right out over the white line, just about to drop a wheel off the dirt. But this is where it comes down to that tyre management over the 2 days.
Did you see Kim there? Gave a little wave in the mirror on the way through.
Thanks, mate. We're making this fun.
In the background, David Cedars covering on Marcus Marshall. Alan Letcher next, then Craig Donis. There he is, Thirsty Camel Commodore, I should say. Reece McNally, Stratco Commodore. They've done a massive amount of work. That car was really badly damaged at Adelaide in the opening round. They've done a big rebuild job, so it's great to see him back. Nathan Pretty here hanging on from Ryle Harris. And if he can stay roughly around where he is, he could end up on the podium.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Kim Jane's line there. He's just taking a much tighter line. Once again, trying to look after those tyres, because once you start running the car wide, you can see him sliding over the top of the hill as McNally's car there comes into shot. So as that car slide over the top of the hill, the tyre just overheats, and it's just so hard to get the power down.
Looking here at Nathan Callahan in the number 29 car, one of the locals who's done a bit of racing here over the years. He's driving the car that Sean Carter drove in the first round at Adelaide, and he's coming from the back of the grid. He started 32nd, he's up to 15th, and we've only done 6 laps.
That's a fantastic effort, but that could be a bit about the tyre thing too. To start off the back of the grid, look, and there he goes. He's got the run off the corner. He's able to get the power down and make the most of that opportunity. So he'll put himself in that position where he can get down the inside, and he'll start working then on Pat.
In the background, Warren Millett, the wake-up Commodore, having a little bit of a nibble at the back of Gary Carson in the Ford. New motor for that car. About 90% of new panels too. It got pretty roughed up in the first round in Adelaide. But here is Chris Pither. He leads by a second from Grant Johnson. We're at half race distance in this final one for the weekend.
I wonder if Grant Johnson's looking at his feet there and questioning whether they're webbed or not.
Well, he did refer to himself as, if he didn't win or he didn't go well, he'd look like a duck. I reckon he's done enough to not look like a duck, but he's got some pace here and he's got half a race still to get the lead.
Great battle for third place. Royal Harris, Kim Jane putting pressure on Royal Harris, who's right up in there behind Nathan Pretty. Kim Jane looking a bit of a faster car at the moment as he's got that power down, got that run, and he's going to find himself half a car width up the inside of Harris into the final corner. This is where we talked about the sun. Down to this final corner, it's in the eyes, it's very, very difficult to see. You miss your braking zone, but these guys have managed to get through all right. But Kim Jane again on the other side of the curb.
You've got to be careful too there. You really don't want to have that curb right underneath the car. You don't want to straddle it because quite easy to do undercarriage damage.
As there's about 7 or 8 cars in the background doing exactly that. I managed to wear the gearbox plug off my car by doing exactly that this weekend. So it can do a lot of damage, that curb, and you've got to be able to you can use it, but not all of it.
Good fight here. We're on board with the DBA in-car camera. Jack Elsgood looking back at the Sage Automotion Commodore of Gary Baxter. A couple of V8 Ute veterans. They've been around, they've seen it and done it all.
You can just pick up there that Jack's car's just losing that mid-corner speed. That tyre's going away from him, and it's hurting towards the end of this race. So it's a great battle going on throughout the field.